Hey there, welcome back to Nature to Nurture, Simply Caring for Our Children. I want to start off today's episode with a confession. You see, for a long time, I thought that I was handling everything pretty well. I thought I was managing. I thought I was keeping all of the plates spinning. I thought I was just tired because, well, life was busy. And to be fair, yes, life was busy. I've got twins that are 12 years old. I was working, running a cleaning company as well, leading community work, supporting families, managing our house, helping to coordinate all of the schedules, trying to be a good wife and a good mom, a good daughter, a good granddaughter, a good friend, a good leader, all of these things. And from the outside, I probably looked pretty capable. And honestly, most of the time, I felt capable too, until the moment that I didn't. And I can trace it back right now. I started noticing it more than a year ago. Actually, I've repeated this cycle a few times in my life, as I've talked about back in 2023. I did a similar thing. But I really did start noticing it. And it wasn't all at once. I was like, ooh. It was little things. Small signs, the kind of things that are super easy to dismiss when you are used to pushing through. You see, I was tired. I was reactive. I was less patient. I was more likely to feel overwhelmed. Yep, that's the word right there, overwhelmed. That's what I said all the time. I'm overwhelmed. This is overwhelming. By things that normally would never have bothered me. I would get home from a day that wasn't necessarily hard, it was just full. And I wouldn't have much left. Physically, I wouldn't have much left, or emotionally, mentally, sometimes even socially. And what was interesting is that nothing big had happened. There wasn't a crisis. There wasn't some huge event. There was just an accumulation. Day after day, week after week, month after month, year maybe after year. The constant holding, the constant decision making, the constant responsibility and awareness of what everybody else needed. And if I am being completely honest, there were moments when I didn't want to cook dinner, and it's not because I couldn't, but it's because I couldn't make another decision. There were moments when my kids would ask me a question and I would say, please don't ask me anything else. I cannot handle it. It's not because I didn't love them. It was because I had reached capacity. And there were moments when I just did not want to have another conversation, another email, or another message pop up on my phone. I didn't want to see one more person who was needing something from me. Have you ever felt like that? That feeling where you don't necessarily want to run away from your life. You just want 10 minutes where nobody needs anything from you. And the interesting part is that I didn't immediately recognize it as a nervous system issue. I thought that maybe I just needed better time management. Maybe I needed a different planner. Maybe I needed to get more organized. Maybe I just needed to work harder. And looking back now, I can see that my body had actually been trying to get my attention for a long time. But I just wasn't listening. And then November came. And something shifted. Not dramatically, not overnight. Just enough that I finally started paying attention. I have shared with all of you that I myself struggle with seasonal depression, and I try to pay attention to it as we're getting into fall. I love fall. I try to cherish it, and I also try to think about more and more each year, how do I actually prepare myself so that November, December, January, February, March are not a living hell. And like I said, things shifted and I finally started paying attention. I started asking myself, what if it's not actually just my body that is the problem? What if my body is actually communicating something important? What if my exhaustion isn't always something to overcome? And what if it is actually... Around that time, I started working with a health coach, Chandler, shout out to her, great things. And one of the things that I really appreciate about working with her isn't that we're working on weight, because honestly, that is not anything that we've really talked about. And it's not just about the food that I'm putting into my body. It's not just about the exercise and movement that I'm doing. It is about paying attention. Yes, it's about noticing. It is about supporting my body instead of constantly overriding it. Because if I'm honest, I had gotten really, really good at overriding my body. And maybe you have too, right? Are you tired? Just keep going. Overwhelmed? Push through. You need some rest? Maybe tomorrow. Want some support? You can handle it yourself. Need a break? After you finish everything else. Eat some lunch? Just wait till dinner. You don't have enough time. The problem is, everything else, it never ends. It keeps on overloading and you keep on pushing through. Well, let's fast forward to February, a few months after I started really paying attention and taking those steps. Our family was so blessed to be able to go spend a week in Hawaii. It was a really true respite, a pause, and a chance for us to not attend to our businesses, both of us, as we each have businesses and work on top of that, and our kids too. It allowed all of us to just step out of normal life for a little while. And what surprised me is not how good we felt there, because I knew we were going to feel amazing in Hawaii. Like, of course, duh. It was actually how different I felt when I came home. Because for the first time in a while, I had noticed how much I had actually been carrying. It was like when you're walking around with a backpack for so long that you actually forget you're wearing it. And then when someone takes it off, you suddenly realize, oh my gosh, that was so heavy. I actually experienced this with my hair. When I cut my hair off, I feel the same. So when we got back, I started to make changes. They weren't huge, dramatic life changes, but small ones, intentional ones. I started to really look at what was I actually carrying? What could I let go of? And what was never really mine to hold? I started to actually reduce and cancel some of my outside responsibilities. I protected my time more carefully. I started to pay attention to my energy, to my capacity, and very importantly, I started to pay attention to my recovery. Because here's what I actually realized. The goal was not for me to become stronger so that I could carry more. The goal was actually understanding that there was never, ever supposed to be an endless amount that you are carrying in the first place. And that realization actually changed everything. What I've come to understand is that we aren't struggling because we're weak. We are struggling because we have made it normal to carry too much. We've made it normal to function when you are overwhelmed. We've made it normal to be constantly needed. And we've made it normal to live in this state of low-grade stress for so long that it actually feels like this is the way life should be. But eventually, the body starts to speak up. Not because it's broken, but because it's wise. The body will start to tell you, slow down, pay attention, something needs to change. And that's exactly where I want to go to next. Because what I learned is that this isn't just about exhaustion, it's also about safety. And understanding safety completely changed the way that I think about parenting, caregiving, community, and even what I've come to understand over the last couple of months is that it's not really that I was tired. It wasn't that I needed a vacation. It wasn't that I needed a better planner, although trust me, I really do love my planners. Let me tell you all about it. Reach out. I'm happy to tell you about my favorite one. What I was actually experiencing was a nervous system that had spent a very long time carrying responsibility. A nervous system that had gotten really good at staying alert and really good at anticipating what everybody else needed. I was good at monitoring what was going on with everyone around me and holding all of that together. What it wasn't very good for was for resting. One of the things I think that we misunderstand about safety is that we often think that safety means danger. We think, I'm safe, right? Because nobody's chasing me, I have a home, my family's okay, I'm not in immediate danger. So why am I still feeling exhausted? Why do I still feel overwhelmed? And why does my body feel like it cannot turn off? The answer is that the nervous system, it experiences safety differently than the way that we think about it in our brain. You see, your nervous system is not simply asking you, are you in danger? It's saying, can you predict what's going to happen next? Can you trust the people around you? Can you make mistakes and still belong? Will someone help you out if you need it? Can you put your load down for a little while? There's a term that researchers use called neuroception, and essentially it is the body's internal surveillance system. Your nervous system, you see, is consistently scanning every single moment of every day, and you're not conscious of it, but automatically it's doing it. It is scanning for the tone of voice, for facial expressions, for outside noise, conflict, pressure, someone's pace, stress, is there connection, support. You see, your body is consistently asking, do I need to be alert right now? Or can I relax? And the really incredible thing is that the body often answers your question long before your mind even has a chance to think about it. Pause for a second and listen to that again. Your body often answers the question of if you are safe or if you can relax before you even recognize that you have made a decision. Have you ever walked into a room and immediately you can feel tension? Nobody has to say anything. Nothing obvious has happened, but you can feel it, right? Most of us have experienced that before. The body notices things before the mind has the language for them. The opposite is true too, though. Have you ever sat with someone and you have felt yourself relax. Maybe it was a grandparent or a friend or a teacher. Maybe it was your partner. Maybe it was someone who simply made you feel that you didn't have to perform. I know I have a lovely friend, Miss Tam, shout out to you. She gives the best hugs and just sees straight through you and loves you. Anyways, when you're around these people, your shoulders soften. Your breathing changes. You stop monitoring everything that's going on around you. And you stop trying so hard. That right there, that's safety. It's not perfection. It's not comfort. One of the researchers I often come back to is Bruce Perry. And one of the things that he talks about is that the most powerful buffer against stress, it's not perfection, it's not money, it's not achievement, it's not having a perfect life, but it is caring and predictable relationships. People who consistently are showing up. That idea right there stayed with me. When I think about my own children, I think about how often my mother-in-law, she talks to me about this all the time. She has told me how grateful she is that her grandkids, they know security, that they know where they're going to sleep, that they know they'll be fed, that they know someone will show up, that they know who their people are, that they know that they belong. And the first time she said it, I remember thinking, well, of course. But the more that I sat with it, the more that I realized those things, they aren't small. They are foundational. Those experiences are teaching a child's nervous system something very important. That the world is predictable. That help is available. That they are not alone. And that they belong here. And children are asking these questions long before they have words for them. When they are babies, when they are toddlers, when they are children, when they are teens, they're asking, am I safe? Will someone come back for me? Will someone help me when I'm overwhelmed? Can I have big feelings and still be loved? Do I matter? Do I belong? And what strikes me is how many adults are actually asking the same questions. We're just asking them different, right? Can I ask for help? Will someone actually support me? Am I too much? Do I belong here? Can I stop performing for just a minute? Can I show up as myself and still be accepted? Can I actually rest? Can I let my guard down? The more I learn about attachment, nervous systems, and caregiving, the more convinced I become that so much of what we are all searching for is actually the same thing. Connection, belonging, support, safety. And here's where this becomes really important for parents and caregivers. Remember, children borrow safety from us before they can consistently create it for themselves. Let me say it again. Children borrow safety from us before they can create it for themselves. And it's not because we as parents or caregivers are supposed to be perfect. It's not because we're supposed to never get frustrated. And it's not because we're supposed to always have it together. That is impossible. What helps children feel safe is not perfection. Instead, it is predictability. It is repair. It is connection. It is knowing that someone will come back after a hard moment. It is knowing that mistakes don't end a relationship. And it's knowing that they don't have to carry adult problems on their shoulders. This right here completely changed the way that I think about behavior. Years ago, I would have looked at behavior and asked, what is wrong? How do I stop this? How do I fix this? And now I ask myself, what is my child trying to communicate, or another child that I'm caring for? What are they actually needing? Do they feel safe in their body right now? And honestly, sometimes I have to ask myself the same question. Does my body feel safe right now? Because if I am feeling reactive or short-tempered or shut down or overwhelmed, the answer is not that I need more discipline. It's not that I need to try harder. It's paying attention. And that's where we're going next. Because understanding safety is one thing. Rebuilding it is another. And the beautiful part is that rebuilding safety doesn't usually happen through massive life changes. It happens through small little moments, through these nice rhythms, simple experiences that are repeated. One of the things that I've been thinking a lot about is, what if the goal is not to become more resilient? I know that resilience is a popular word. There is absolutely value in resilience. But sometimes I wonder if we have accidentally turned resilience into another thing that you are expected to achieve. Another thing that you're expected to carry. Another way of saying, figure out how to keep going. But what if the goal isn't becoming someone who can carry more? What if the goal is actually becoming someone who recognizes when they have carried enough? That question has really changed a lot for me, because for years, my answer to feeling overwhelmed was almost always the same. Work harder, get more organized, push through, find a better system, become more efficient. And do not get me wrong, if you know me, you know I love systems, I love routines, I love planning. Yes, I really love planning. And many of the changes that I have made over the last couple of years have helped me out tremendously. Working with Chandler has improved my nutrition. I've been walking consistently. I've been strength training. I've been creating these intentional rhythms of movement. I've also been utilizing some of the stuff that I learned from Chelsea Joe and the Systemize Your Life program. Reducing my commitments and protecting my time. All of those things matter. Absolutely, they matter. But there is another level that I want you to go to. It's that those things help because they are supporting the nervous system. It's not because they are making you superhuman. There's a huge difference. And it is super important that you recognize this. When we talk about health, people often focus on the food and the exercise and the sleep and the supplements and the water, and those things, they matter. But underneath all of those things is the question: does your body actually feel safe enough to receive that support? Because you can do all the right things and still feel exhausted if your nervous system is actually carrying an impossible amount of responsibility. I think this is part of why women in particular are talking about hormones right now. And rightfully so. Hormones definitely matter. They impact our energy and our sleep and our mood and our weight, recovery, all of it. But hormones, they don't exist in isolation. They exist inside of a body, inside of a nervous system, inside of a life. And when that life feels chronically overwhelming, and when there is never enough margin, When the nervous system never actually gets to fully relax, the body starts to adapt, right? Cortisol rises, sleep changes, your digestion changes, your recovery changes, your patience, your energy. Your body starts prioritizing survival. And the body is intelligent, right? It's smart. It knows how to work. It is a machine that knows how to keep itself operating. It's not trying to work against us. It's trying to protect us. And that's why I think one of the most healing shifts that we can make is moving from what is wrong with me to what is my body actually trying to tell me. That question changes you. Once I started listening, I noticed something else. The moments that I felt best, they weren't the moments where I was being productive. They were actually the moments when I felt connected. When I was walking outside, when I was sitting in the sun, when I was having coffee with someone who feels safe, or laughing with my kids, or out camping, or for me, being near water, that's a huge one, listening to the wind, feeling the ground underneath my feet. Those moments, they aren't accomplishing anything, but they are doing something. And the nervous system knows it. And I think that's one reason that nature has become such a huge part of my own healing. And I've said it before, it's not because nature magically fixes everything. It doesn't. Life is still life. Problems still exist. Children still have huge feelings. Bills still need to be paid. And laundry still needs to be folded or at least taken out of the dryer. But nature changes the conversation happening inside of your body. Your pace slows down, the noises decrease, the visual clutter softens, and your nervous system gets a few fewer demands. And for a moment, your body, it remembers, oh yeah, this is what it feels like to be regulated. I see this in kids all the time too. A child who is struggling inside suddenly softens and relaxes as soon as they step outside. A child who is dysregulated can start digging in dirt or climbing on rocks or watching ants, throwing sticks into the water, and their body starts to find its way back. And it's not because someone is forcing regulation. It's because the environment supported it. Adults need that too now. Maybe even more than we realize. One of the biggest myths in our culture is that safety comes from control. If I can just organize enough, plan enough, achieve enough, prepare enough, that's a big one for me, and then I can finally relax. But that's not actually how the nervous system works. Safety doesn't come from controlling everything. Safety comes from knowing that you don't have to carry all of it alone. That's different. And that brings me back to support. Because support is not a luxury. It's a biological need. Connection is a biological need. Belonging is a biological need. And being seen is one of those needs. Dan Siegel talks about the importance of feeling felt. And I really love that phrase. Feeling felt. It's not fixed. It's not managed. It's not judged. It is seen, understood, connected. And children need that. And parents need that. And caregivers need that. And community leaders need that. Funders need that. Teachers need that. All of us need that. And I think that is part of what so many people are longing for right now. It's not just information. It's not just another productivity system. It's not just another thing to optimize and make perfect. We're longing for connection. We're longing for support. We're longing for spaces where we don't have to perform. We're longing for spaces where our nervous systems can finally take a breath and soften. So the question is, how do we actually start? It is not with a complete life overhaul or a perfect morning routine or adding 20 new things. You need to start small. The first thing is to notice, where is your body racing? Notice when your shoulders are tight, or when your breath becomes shallow, or when you stop feeling present. Then I want you to reduce one source of input during those moments. Maybe it's the background noise behind you. Maybe it's you're scrolling on your phone. Maybe it's a commitment that's putting pressure on you, or an expectation. I also want you to spend 10 minutes outside without consuming anything. Go out there without a podcast, without an audiobook, without a phone. Go on a walk or just sit and notice. Make this a predictable rhythm for you. You don't need to add 10 things. Add one thing. Add something that your body can count on to give you that recovery. Go ahead and ask yourself now, what would help you to feel supported right now? Not productive, not successful. I hope you heard me. I said supported. What would help you feel supported right now? Your heart's speaking to you. Listen to the answer. I'm sorry, not your heart. The truth is, your body. Because your body has probably been communicating with you for a long time. The question is whether you are willing to listen. And maybe that's really the invitation that I want to give you for this whole entire episode. I think it's been a little bit. Thanks for sticking in there. It's not to become better at carrying everything. It's not to become stronger so that you can take on even more. But it's to become more attentive, more connected, more aware. The goal isn't to become better at surviving. The goal is to remember what support feels like, to remember what it feels like to be regulated, to remember what safety feels like for our children, for ourselves, for our community. The nervous system was never designed to do this whole thing alone. And that's why so many of us are longing for slower rhythms, deeper relationships, nature, belonging, community, support. It's not because we're failing. It's because deep down, the body remembers what it was designed for. And I really do think that's worth listening to. Thank you so much for joining me here today and listening through here to the end. I really, really do appreciate you. If this episode really hit you and you're still here, please share it with someone else who's also been carrying a lot, who needs to hear this message, who needs to feel seen as well, to know that they're not alone, and who also maybe can join you on that journey to make one small little change, one small little rhythm to support your nervous system. Also, please make sure that you are following the podcast, because next week we're going to go deeper into these small and practical things that actually help us to rebuild safety in everyday life for ourselves and for the children that we care for. And if you want some more reflections like this on the week, actually not the week, on Friday, go ahead and join my Friday Reflections newsletter through the link in the show notes. And until next time, just take a breath, step outside if you can, and remember, you were never meant to carry all of this alone.